Okay, this is huge, and I think you will like it. I guess you are familiar with the name SBoys3. This guy is literally a genius, and he's been praised in the VR community for the native SteamVR driver he made last year for the Meganex. Now he has done it again, this time for Pimax Dream Air. Yes, SBoys3 has been equipped with the Pimax Dream Air Lighthouse version headset, and the past 2 months or so he's been working on a native SteamVR driver for Pimax. But why is this such a big thing? And what is native SteamVR driver? A native SteamVR driver is what a few other headsets have been using out of the box for years. Headsets such as Big Screen Beyond and the Valve Index, of course. These headsets don't even use additional applications such as Pimax Play to enable or configure the headsets. You plug in the headset, start off SteamVR, it connects automatically, and you do all the device configuration from within SteamVR. So everything is controlled by SteamVR, also including the entire render pipeline. Now, Pimax has always been using its own software. First it was called PyTool, then it became Pimax Play. The software is there to power up, configure and manage the headsets and its rendering pipeline. This of course has its own advantages. We get access to more custom settings, options and configurations. Way more than what SteamVR can offer actually. Lately, the Pimax engineers has done a lot of work on the Pimax Play, and it got praised for its stability and wide range of options and freedom of configuring your Pimax headsets in almost every possible way. But there's still certain things that we have been missing out. First off, better performance when running games through SteamVR. And among flight and racing simulator geeks in our VR community, many of you guys don't even use SteamVR anymore for that reason alone. We already have multiple OpenXR runtimes, both the Pimax built-in runtime called Pimax OpenXR and of course the well-known Pimax XR made by another genius, Matthew aka Mbucha. These OpenXR runtimes can be run through SteamVR but also without the need of SteamVR through a native OpenXR pipeline without a middle hand like SteamVR. And that improves performance, that makes games run much better than before, and also it adds things like quad views into DCS World and the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's just amazing. So now I think that is about to change, and a lot of Pimax geeks may now even return back to SteamVR for a couple of reasons. And here's why. Now, when rendering SteamVR games directly through the SteamVR driver, an OpenXR render pipeline does give you better frame rate in most cases. And at the end of this video, I'll show you one simple example, which is pretty convincing. But reducing performance overhead is just one thing. You also get better compatibility with SteamVR features that requires a native SteamVR driver. There are a lot of features in SteamVR, and you probably know one specific feature all of us Pimax users have been missing out over the years. Yep, SteamVR motion smoothing. It finally works on Pimax. Motion smoothing is a built-in SteamVR motion reprojection feature that makes VR games run smooth, even if your GPU cannot keep up and you got frame drops. Something very close to what asynchronous space warp is achieving on Oculus or Meta headsets. And what motion smoothing can do is magically removing stutters and judder when frame rate is inconsistent and maybe hovering, let's say, around 70 or 80 frames per second or anything below 90 frames per second when running 90 Hz. Yeah, it's far from perfect though. It does introduce some level of artifacts, kind of similar to what early DLSS frame generation did, but it's still the best motion reprojection feature available, at least for PC VR headsets. And yeah, it is better than the Pimax own smart smoothing feature, even though it does its job, right? But apart from several other native SteamVR features that now works, it also has its own application with graphical user interface, which is packed with not only useful Pimax tweaks and adjustments, but also some fundamental Pimax headset settings going even beyond Pimax Play. How about just being able to import custom distortion profiles with custom field of view modes? Well, that's one of these things. How about adjusting the field of view in real time, both vertically and horizontally, by cropping out parts of the view to gain additional performance? Yep, all you racing sim freaks out there have asked for this for ages, and I think you're all gonna love it. Then how about changing world scale in real time or adjusting subpixel shift to correct for color fringing or a chromatic aberration? You can configure the time warp correction, change maximum black levels on the micro OLED, customize your own hidden area mesh, and so many other things. So yeah, I told you, SBoys3 is a genius, and if you are familiar with what he did for the Mega Next community in terms of visual clarity improvements, then you know what to expect here. I bet a lot of cool things will be added, such as more tweaks and, most importantly, multiple field of view modes and max binocular overlap modes, and then Tobii eye tracking support and slam tracking implementation. Yeah, this is crazy. It's huge for Pimax, and it's all thanks to one guy. And I have a feeling this is just the beginning. This is the first version of the software, which is going public anytime. Maybe it's already out when this video is published. At the time of recording this now, it's still tested internally only. I will do more in-depth videos touching all the settings and features of this app, but having all that said, let me just give you a few details and some heads up. First off, currently this driver only works with Pimax Dream Air, the Lighthouse version. I tried the Crystal Super, the Crystal Light, and they didn't even connect. Not even the Dream Air Slam prototype from CES connects. And that is because slam tracking is not yet functional with this driver. Secondly, there's only one distortion profile and the field of view mode available for the Dream Air at this time of testing, which maxes out at 100 degrees horizontally and 86 degrees vertically. But as I said, we can expect a whole bunch of profiles coming up, but for now this is all we can use today. Also, due to the Pimax DRM, at least currently, you cannot completely close down Pimax Play when running this native SteamVR driver. It needs to initiate the headset to begin with. Then you can switch to the native SteamVR driver with just one click in the SBoys3 application. Pimax Play completely disconnects then from the headset, but needs to still be in the background idling for the DRM to work. So yes, that's the limitations as of now. Before we wrap up this video, I want to quickly demonstrate an example of the performance improvement running Half-Life Alyx on the Dream Air with this native SteamVR driver versus running it in the normal way through SteamVR using default Pimax drivers and the render pipeline managed by Pimax Play. I'm using an RTX 4090 with the Ryzen 5950X CPU as always. In both cases, Half-Life Alyx is running at max fidelity in-game and launched with these command lines: no dynamic resolution, fidelity level at 6, which is the highest possible, and MSAA at 2. We are rendering a very similar resolution in both examples. As you can tell, the Pimax driver does struggle to maintain 90 frames per second, often drops to 80 frames per second or even below. With the native SteamVR driver, the frame rate is locked at 90 frames per second with lower average frame times, and look at the significantly lower GPU utilization. Not even one single frame drop here. And this is just one major advantage of native SteamVR driver. In the upcoming few videos, I will show you more benchmarks and how incredibly well SteamVR motion smoothing works with Pimax running games and simulators. Yeah, so guys, we are in for a treat. And I would like to personally say thank you to you, SBoys3, for your incredible work with this driver. This is game-changing, and this will make the Dream Air an even more complete VR headset, simply a no-brainer, and something that's probably dominating the high-end VR industry by now. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please leave a like on this video, let us know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.